Hello folks, it's RJ from RJBTV, and I just wanted to go over my Fortnite Only Up speedrun. I've been speedrunning Only Up on Fortnite for a short little while now. Started out playing it with a friend of mine from the gym, and then I kind of got hooked on this concept of Only Up and trying to do it fast. So here's the first run. This is the first skip that I'm trying to do here. It didn't exactly go as I wanted it to, so I reset the timer at the top and I go back, and here's the first box jump and the next box jump and a box jump. This is the very first shortcut that you really want to hit on this map, and hopefully this is exactly like here I made a mistake. Here I lost a couple seconds, and you'll notice these seconds that I'm losing stacking up until the end of the video, where you notice that it actually makes quite a big difference when you rack up these seconds. Anyway, the goal is I'm trying to do this as fast as I can to get the best time that I personally can. I think that currently the world record held by someone, which uses a lot more setup than I'm using, like they're putting things in specific places before they start their run, is like a 7:33. And as you can see by the length of this video, this is around 10 minutes or so. But just watch along with me if this interests you, of course, that is. Just really wanted to do this beside a little bit of StarCraft, because I've only been uploading StarCraft for a very long time. And I also have other interests besides StarCraft. StarCraft is my main interest, but I also do like playing and challenging myself in other games, such as this, really. As you can see, I'm recording on Media Player, by the way, which is kind of not very advanced, but it's the easiest way to do it because I can rewind and show where I make really big mistakes. I made a mistake earlier in this video where I lost a couple seconds, but I'll show where I make mistakes again and again. So this is just a little bit slow. I'm not going through this at full speed. I'm going at it pretty fast, but not at full speed. So here's the very first mistake that I make. That right there, that little adjustment that I made, that's a mistake. Right here, these bounces have to actually get me a little bit further ahead than they did, because I also made a small little mistake, which cost me about a second on that run. Same here. I make another mistake. I should have landed differently. Ideally, you want to mantle, like you want to land on this corner of this house there on the right. I evidently missed it. And that cost me like another, I'd say, 8 seconds, maybe 9 seconds on the timer. That's another small little mistake right there. At the barrel that you saw, like, adds 1 more second as well. Here, there's not a whole lot more mistakes anymore. Maybe I'm not the fastest with the execution, but I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. And as you can see, yeah, I do. I'm not as fast as some of the others. Like, you can do some slides here and there, and I'm not using all of the slides that you can utilize on this map. Also, the next part that you're gonna watch is rather slow, because there's something that I'm absolutely terrible at that most other players who do this, most other people do use this. Like, you can drift with these cars, and the drift generates a boost for your cart. Now, the problem I'm having is that I absolutely cannot control my cart when I'm drifting. I absolutely am terrible at it. I've tried it, but oh god, I don't think you've seen anyone worse at it than me. So I stopped drifting and I started going for what I perceive to be optimal lines, but the lines that you see right here are not exactly the most optimal ones, but they do get me where I want to be. Like, you want to keep the speed at like 42 on the most optimal lines, and when you go into the air, you lose some speed. When you don't take an optimal line, you go down to like 39 speed, which is not really beneficial. So I lost like more seconds than I want to admit on that part. Now this part is pretty good. This part is pretty good. You can slide, but I didn't slide on purpose because I am terrible at controlling the slide, but I arrived at this point at about the time that I wanted to, at 350. Ideally, I would be there at like 342, 340 with the current method that I'm using, but it's not as... This is a very nice one. I really like that slide. That slide got me in the exact place that I wanted to be. So I was very satisfied with the slide, but yeah, I've made mistakes. And you're gonna be seeing another small little mistake here that cost me, I think, 2 seconds, maybe even 3 seconds in total on these small little fences, these railings. Like right here, I fall off, I managed to recover, but I fall off again. So twice I fall off, cost me about a second, maybe 2 seconds. But here comes one of the biggest little slip-ups, literally a slip-up. I slide off, I have to readjust, that is another 2 seconds on the clock gone. So all in all the mistakes I've made so far in these, let's say 5 minutes, have cost me like 12 seconds or 13 seconds already, maybe even 15. Oh yeah, it's not going well, but this is still one of my best runs up until this point. Still one of my better runs, because it's, honestly, I have to admit, it's pretty difficult to do, and yeah, I'm just not that great. So here we get about, ideally I'd be here like 5 minutes. I got there at 5:11. Not terrible. It's pretty good, to be honest, but it's definitely not where I want that to be. So here's this small little thing, this thing you can slide off of it. I managed to not slide off of it, which I'm pretty happy about. Right here, it's, actually I'm pretty satisfied about that part. Right here, ideally you would be on the orange sides and then jump towards the next part, but I just go through the middle because I don't want to accidentally fall off the orange part. Right there, this is pretty good stuff in my opinion. I'm keeping up the pace quite well. I'm doing a pretty good job. Now, that's a little bit slow. Like, you could see me hesitating right there. I wanted to readjust and realign. It wasn't too clean. So right here, there's a big skip of part of the map. You run to the right side, then up the mountain. This part is going pretty clean, but this part is really easy to do. But even though it's easy to do, you can still see me make a mistake and slip up a little bit, or like right here. This is good, this is good. Smaller mistake right there, but it still is nothing to be worried about. It's like, I'd say like 1/4 of a second, but this is a big one. I slide up the mountain. I managed to recover slightly with a jump to prevent myself from losing even more time, but that definitely lost me 2 seconds. So it's stacking up, like I'm 20 to 22 seconds down on where I want to be. It's a lot of time that I'm losing. This is pretty clean, but I land on the wrong side of this little thing that shoots me upwards. If I land on the other side of it, I can jump into it and fly further and then I can skip these beams that I'm walking over right now. These large beams, I can skip those and land right here. So I messed it up. Right here, I messed up again because I go for the small box, but I should have gone for the slightly bigger box on the right of it. Here's another big mistake that I make. I climb and I fall right over it, manage to recover, but this cost me like 3 seconds. It's terrible to be losing time right there because all these little bits of time that you lose, it all adds up and adds up and adds up. And in the end, you can be like 30 seconds slower than your optimal run, maybe even 40 seconds slower than your optimal run. But at this point, I'd say I'm 30 seconds down on where I want to be with my run. And you'll see it at the end that it really makes a difference because I'm shooting for a specific time, but I do not make that specific time. I fail to succeed at what my goal was. I fail to succeed. This part is not the cleanest because I think you can jump a little bit more optimally there to be a little bit faster, but I don't really mind here. This part, I hesitate a little bit. You can see it in the movement. It's not the crispest, not the cleanest, but I do make it across in the end. But it's not clean. I wish I was more talented at this kind of stuff. Maybe I'm too old at this point. Like, I'm already past my 30s. I'm in my early 30s, actually. So yeah, this is... Maybe I'm just getting too old to be as crisp and as clean as can possibly be. You know, I'm pretty satisfied with this part. You saw the hesitation there. That part scares me because there's something going on at that part where you can slide off the railing for some reason. So I always take it a little bit easy, but I do lose a second at that exact point. And seconds matter. I've said it a lot of times before already in the video. Seconds matter. That one was a pretty neat one. Not the cleanest little climb up, but it was definitely one that I have been wanting to add in, and I managed to do it. So right here, everything is going alright. I'm very close to the final part of the map. So now I'm entering the final part of the map, and here is where I do make some little slip-ups in terms of keeping with the pace. Like right there, you see me land and stand still for a little bit. I should be running straight on ahead. Now this part I'm pretty satisfied about because I'm skipping a lot right here. I'm skipping a large part, but right here I'm terrible at this part that comes next. So I have made the skip that I use a little bit shorter than the ones that the world records use. But I'm still pretty satisfied about the time that I'm putting out here on this final part. But you can see me hesitate at some parts. Right here, I've made a couple mistakes in the past before where I fly over the rock on an even better run than this one. But yeah, as you can see in the end, I arrive at the final destination 8 seconds over the mark that I wanted to hit. I wanted to go for a sub 10 and I arrive at 10.08333. That was definitely not the goal. So where do I make a couple mistakes? Right here. This is not clean. Right here, you ideally want to land on this and then fly right into this little doorway right there. I actually, like, you want to be inside of that. Let me see. You want to be inside of that water swimming upwards at 16. And as you can see, I'm there at 70. So that's a whole second lost, right? I lost a whole second. And there's actually a way of getting in there at 15, but that requires some sliding at the part when the clock starts to speed things up a little bit. And there's one more little mistake that I make right here. You want to land on top of this. On top of that, not sure what you call it in English. Let's call it half a tent. I don't know what you call it. But like, you want to land on top of it, not climb on top of it and then run. Right here, I make another mistake. Actually, no, that was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. That looked pretty good. So yeah, this is all pretty much as it should be. Then a little bit further ahead here, I do not use a skip. Like, you can turn around on the toilet on the left side and then climb into that little shed there on the top left, and from that shed jump onto the haystack that I jump onto right here. This haystack, you can jump onto that one and save like 2 seconds, maybe a second of time. So you can already see that at the start, in the first minute, I've already lost a bunch of time that you ideally do not want to lose. But I've lost that time. Here, there's pretty much not much to change about it. But you can see me arrive at the Season 2 part a little bit slower than I ideally would, like 122. I've been here at 118 before. So that's a whole 4 seconds. That's a whole 4 seconds I've managed to waste the very first part of the map. And the other big mistake is, let me see, right here. Right here. So, okay, so I'm flying forward. You can see them trying to aim for that little corner of the building. And I missed the corner of that building. Yeah, the corner on the right. You can already see, like, I was there at, like, 1:59. Okay, 2 minutes. So I would have been there at 2 minutes, and let's look at how long it takes me to get up there. Yep, so that's another 6 seconds that I lost there that I could have saved. And this all adds up. But yeah, this is just something that I really wanted to just share with the people who care. But also so that I can just have this as evidence to myself that, hey, I do like these other games from time to time, and I might upload more of these kind of things, but they will be a little bit cleaner and crisper than this. I can tell you that. This is still pretty rough stuff because I'm just watching a video in a video that you'll be watching when you're watching this video. So we're watching a video of me watching a video which you watched. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's RJ from RJBTV, and I'm signing out.